Good evening and welcome back to the Queen's Club for tonight's coverage of the 2024 British Open final between Camden, Riviere and Nick Howell. My name is Ben Gatenbeek. Joining me is Bertie Vallet. How are you doing tonight, Bertie?
Hi Ben, I'm doing great, thanks. Really looking forward to watching this final.
So we will be bringing you coverage of the final very shortly. We've got about half an hour to go. Preparations are just concluding and players will be taking to the court in a few moments' time. But in the lead up to that, I thought we had better go over some of the tournaments so far and discuss exactly what we have seen to get us to this point. So the first round was historic here at Queen's. For the first time ever, matches were scheduled across both courts here at Queen's, both on the East Court and the West Court. We had play on the West Court last year when a match was moved over due to a late running schedule due to a sweating court, but this is the first time that it had been done as part of the schedule. Bertie, you played on that Super Sunday. How did you find it?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was a really smooth running event. The matches didn't overrun too much, whereas last year there was play quite close to midnight. And yeah, I thought it was also a great day to be a spectator with good matches on both courts.
What was it like as a spectator, being able to view two different streams going on, play going on? It was all a bit chaotic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the streaming was like a huge success, but also to be here in person, there was like a buzz on the first round day, but I'm not sure there normally is. Packed crowds, a really young audience actually, and never a dull moment with two matches at once.
So we had, in that first round, we had 4 matches go to 5 sets. We had John Woods Casey and Tim Chisholm, Nino Marola and Henry Henman, yourself,
and Lewis Williams, and Wolf Lynn and Zach Edel.
So what does that say about the tightness of those matches amongst those ranked between 9 and 24?
Yeah, I think it's one of the great things about having a round of 24, which I think is currently unique to the British Open, is that there are so many close first rounds with the non-seeded players playing against each other. So yeah, it's something really special about the British Open. So many close first rounds.
Moving on to the second round, all the seeds came through bar one. The 8th seed, Mathieu Sarlong, was knocked out by Nino Marola. What do you reckon about Nino's play this week?
Yeah, it's been exceptional. I mean, I don't think it was an upset on paper, but I think it wasn't a surprise to a huge number of people, just because we've all seen the form he's been in this year. One of the most improved players, and he's looked pretty unstoppable. So yeah, it was a great win for him.
One other thing we had this year is we had 3 matches end in a retirement. That was Zach Edel, Neil McKenzie and Rob Fay. And we also had Tim Chisholm taking a long cramp break. What does it take to be fully fit for this top level?
I think it's just a brutal sport, really. Playing on concrete floor, you're constantly lunging. It takes a lot, and I think that's not to say that players who do get injured haven't prepared properly. I think it's just you kind of have to accept when you step on court that it's such a high-impact sport that something can go wrong. So yeah, there's an element of luck involved for sure. Yeah,
moving into the quarterfinals, the big result there was Leon Smart benefiting from a withdrawal due to Fay. Fay suffered a calf injury when he was backpedaling, attempting to take a Chandelle serve. Fay was up in the match, but Leon progresses through to his first semi-final. What do you make of that, Bertie?
Yeah, it's a huge result for Leon, because the points he earned 3 years ago, I believe, for a similar upset were, I think, about to drop off this time round. So to be able to reclaim a semi-final in an Open and maintain his high ranking, I think is a huge result for him.
And then we also, on the semi-final day, was a great day, but got disrupted due to a sweating court. The match between Ben Taylor-Matthews and Camden Riviere having to move courts mid-match, and we had to set up a brand new stream just for that match, one set on that one court. But it's good of Queen's to be able to have the flexibility to be able to do that. So moving into the matches for tonight, looking ahead to Camden Riviere versus Nick Howell. I sat down with Camden earlier this week before the tournament started, and here's what he had to say. Camden, here we are again, another Open. What brings you back?
Well, I guess now this year I'm defending, so I guess that's what's brought me back. But I feel like the British is definitely one of the biggest Opens. Always one of my favorites to come battle in.
How's the preparation been for this week?
It's been great. I just moved back down to Charleston, South Carolina, so did a fun event over the weekend with Tim, Nikki, and John. So I got some great practice in with those boys and feel rested, and body feels better than it's felt in a long time. So that's really encouraging for me.
What's the goal coming into this tournament?
Oh, to win. Yeah.
This is the last event in the World Race. I appreciate that you don't have to worry about that this time around. But we are going to go into a series of eliminators in the early part of next year. As the defending champion, what lens do you watch those eliminators through?
Well, last time I was the practice partner. I was John's practice partner for his first round eliminator, and hit with both he and Nikki and Ben a little bit. So I don't know. I'd love to be involved again this time if anybody wants help, but it's a luxury to not have to battle it out in those matches, but at the same time, they're getting a great opportunity to train and play competitive matches and work on their games, whereas I'm more just sitting around waiting. So I'm envious in some ways of the extra practice matches and things that they get, but at the same time, I know that I'm where you want to be. I'm in a safe position where I can focus solely on September.
So we've recently had the announcement of the venue for the 25 challenge as Newport, the place where you won your first World Championship. What's it going to be like going back there to defend?
I'm hoping great. I'm hoping a lot of fun. I obviously love Newport. It's one of my favorite places in the world. I've had great success there, but I also think that some of that comes from being in a great mindset. You know, when you go to a city that you like and the weather's nice and the court plays well, it's very easy to feel positive about your tennis. And I know Newport will do a great job. Tony's there. The Hall of Fame's really stepped up over the last few years, and I think they're going to put on a great show.
Lastly, you've moved back down to Charleston now. There's a court project going on down there. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. It's very exciting, the Charleston Racket Club. We've been very lucky. Obviously, things didn't work out at Daniel Island where we were hoping to build. And when that project kind of ended, the current Charleston Squash Club was looking to expand, and we reached out to them about joining that process, and they said yes. And basically, all the documents have been signed. Everything's moving forward. We're in the process of starting construction now. The current building needs to be raised a little bit to continue, but that process has begun, and in hopes of finishing by this time next year. So very, very exciting.
And one more question for you. What's your calendar look like in the rest of this season?
That's a good question. So we get back from this, and we have this tournament in the U.S. called National Open, which you have to live in the U.S. for. And so we have that first weekend in December, so I'll be playing in that. My plan is to basically play everything now that I'm a touring pro again. So I'll be going to Australia in January, and obviously U.S. Open in Washington. I'm very excited for that, for their first Open. So I'll be there to support them. And U.S. Pro is always a favorite of mine, so I'll be there for that. But yeah, the plan is to play everything.
All right, Camden Riviere, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great words from Camden there. So, guys, can you describe Camden's route through this tournament so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Camden's actually had a smoother route through this tournament than he had last year. He's not dropped a set, a fairly comfortable win against Vaughan, and then likewise straight set wins, although under a bit more pressure from BTM and from Steve. So I think he's looking in pretty imperious form at the moment. Hasn't been threatened too much on the singles side. But I actually think that yesterday evening did show that there are routes to win points against Camden. There are routes to put him under pressure, as we saw from Ben and Nino in the doubles. So I think he'll be feeling pretty confident. I think he's been looking good, but not impervious, not completely invincible. What do you think, Bertie?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Cam's got
I won't get any visual. Don't worry, I'll do this.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
His back really well when he had to change course in his match against BTM. But yeah, that said, we did see him make some errors on the doubles court yesterday. And he and Tim did lose a set, so we know that there are opportunities. It's just about whether Nicky can take them.
What kind of a style will we see from Camden tonight? What does he need to do to win?
He used to play like he's played for the last 10 years pretty much. He's going to be chasing a lot of balls down, he's not going to be missing a lot, but also hitting targets. I think obviously everyone thinks of Cam as an amazing retriever quite rightly because of his pace, but he also hits more targets than almost anyone else in the game as well. I think he wants to serve quite tightly. I think that's where, especially if you look at some of his really close matches in recent years against John, against Rob, perhaps where they found a way to get really aggressive on the return of serve. And actually looking at him and Nick, that's what Nick did so effectively in their semi-final last year, especially in the first set, was he was really teeing off on the Camden serve, but Camden then got a really, really tight railroad going for the rest of that match, threw in some high serves as well. So I think that's the main thing with Camden, is if he can serve tight, I think he'll put Nick under a lot of pressure, but Nick's got to try and find a way through that.
I should just say we've been joined by Ben Yorston, who's just made it in from the traffic.
Good to be here, guys.
So Nick's opponent tonight, Cam's opponent tonight, ahead of myself, is Nick Howell. So I also sat down with Nick before the tournament. Here's what Nick had to say. All right, so Nick Howell had a good run of the last few months, winning the Champions Trophy and as well as the French Open doubles. How's the form coming into this year's British Open?
I feel the form's starting to find some form coming into this, which is obviously good timing. British Open tends to be the strongest field that we play because the depth is so much bigger here. So I'm happy with how I've been hitting it the last couple of weeks leading into this tournament. So we'll see how it goes once we get started, but no complaints.
How's the preparation been done at Aiken?
So I feel the preparation this time around has been a little bit better than leading up to the French. I sort of took a bit of time off after the Champions Trophy and just getting back into training leading up to the French. My regular practice partner's been unavailable, so didn't have a heap of practice for the French, but this time around I've felt that I've been able to work on a few things as well and get some practice, and I've been able to get people out to hit me balls, and got to do an exhibition with Cam, John and Tim the other day, so that helped sharpen me up, I believe. So yeah, happy with this preparation this time around.
Coming in with the second seed next to your name, must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think about it too much, but yes, this is the highest seed I've ever been at a British Open. But I have played some tournaments where I've either been a 2 seed or 1 seed, so it's getting less unusual to have that seed, that high seed next to your name. But yeah, it does feel good to be that number 2 seed at a British Open. But with that said, that means nothing once the tournament gets started.
What are your goals coming out of this tournament?
General goals, I'd love to make the singles final. I've never done that here, and if I do that, I'll have been in every major singles final and doubles final, which would be nice. But a lot of good players in the way.
Now, this is the last singles tournament in the world race.
Yeah.
I believe you're already guaranteed a place into the eliminators, but you can be beat at this stage.
No.
What are your thoughts going into the eliminator process starting early next year?
Once the race is finished and then we've confirmed with the World Championship Committee that we're challenging, then it'll be who I'm playing against and where the venue is, and then the preparation for preparing wherever I'm going to be playing and what type of game style I need to work on to win that match will be obviously will be clear once I know who and where I'm playing.
Have you had any thoughts as to whether you'd like to bid into that first round?
I mean, I just don't know what Aiken will do this time around. Yeah, it's very much up in the air. I'd like it to be played there, but don't know what my opponent will do.
So going into the early part of next year, the world race resets
Yeah.
going open.
Yeah.
And then there's the eliminators to come in the early half of next year. What's your calendar looking like? What are you targeting there?
Well, definitely up in the air on the Aussie Open, but play US Open leading into the preparation for the World first round eliminator. So a lot of work on and off the court. I need to put in a lot of hard work, harder work than I put in 2 years ago, I think, to have any sort of chance to get through the first round and the final eliminator to get into the World Championship. I've got to put in a lot of graft.
Well, best of luck in this tournament and best of luck in those eliminators, Nick.
Thanks, Ben.
Very much.
Thank you.
Great words from Nick there. So, Bertie, how's Nick's progression through the tournament been this week?
He's been in superb form. He's dropped one set against Rob Schenkman and progressed through his semi-final against Leon Smart in straight sets. And he's a player defined by his target hitting and his weapons on court, and it's looked really strong. So only really look positive.
And so, Ben, what's Nick's play been like? What's he brought to the court this week?
Yeah, I think the target hitting's really the main one. I think he's been dialed in a lot, very, very consistently. Kind of a few patches of slightly more erratic hitting early on against Rob Schenkman. So what will be key for him is to come out fast. He came out fast this point a year ago against Camden. He actually had a couple of set points at 5-4 at this point. He had a 5-3 lead as well. So I think that's really important for him, and then just trying to maintain that pressure, maintain that consistency. And we know he can do it because it's exactly what he did this time yesterday. Throughout his entire doubles match, he obviously had periods where couldn't quite find the main wall dead on. You can't do it all match for 5 sets, but he was so consistent and hitting with such weight that I think that's going to be the key for him. He's got to find a way past Camden. That's not easy, but he's got the weapon to do it.
So the last time these two stepped on court together was at the French Open in the final. Can you tell the viewers about what happened in that match?
Camden progressed through or won the French Open in straight sets. And I think it's fair to say it's a court that favours his strengths, being especially bounce court, and Camden really strong rally and making of the ball. That's especially tough for Nicky. And also important to mention the huge semi-final match that Nicky played against Steve Vergona in the previous round. This time round, Nicky progressed through the semi-final in straight sets, and it's on a court that you could say favours his game a little bit more. So yeah, I'm super interested to see how Nicky plays this one.
So in addition to the British Open, the other thing that has been at stake in this tournament has been the World Championship race. So over the 2 years, 2023 and 2024, all the major tournaments earn race points and the players qualify for the eliminators. This is the last event in this cycle, and so we now know the identities of the 4 players in the eliminators. Based on the quarterfinal results, Ben Taylor-Matthews jumped ahead of Steve Vergona, as you can see on the screen. Those are the numbers as of right now. So Taylor-Matthews takes the 3rd seed spots. There are 5,000 points up for grabs in tonight's final, which could, if he wins, put Nick Howell above John Lumley in that 1st seed spot. But assuming that things are as they stand right now, that would see John Lumley play Steve Vergona and Nick Howell play Ben Taylor-Matthews. How do those two pairings shape up as spectacles for you two?
Yeah, interesting. And I think Steve slightly getting the early Camden draw coming into play with affecting those standing as they are. I think they're all going to be tight matches. I think those guys have all been at the top of the game in recent years, and not a huge amount to separate them. I'd love to see both of those matches and indeed the resulting match from that. I think John Steve will be really, really interesting, especially kind of Steve's shot making, but John's kind of increasingly volley defence that actually lives up to Steve's, I would say. Very different styles, left-handed, right-handed, but I think that could be a really interesting game. And then Nick versus Ben, sort of retrieval versus power, not a million miles away from what we're going to be probably seeing this evening. So yeah, 2 great matches that I'd love to be watching.
Anything to add to that, Bertie?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. Only that we saw Ben and Nicky play each other at Aiken in the last eliminator cycle. So another important reason is which court will these matches be played at. It'll be interesting to see that if maybe if Chicago was going to bidding process versus Philadelphia, Steve might be able to use his home court advantage.
I can call myself that. Noted.
So the players are starting to take to the court behind us and begin their warm-ups. So any final predictions for you two from tonight's final?
It's really hard to not go with Cam. Will it be in straights? I'm not sure. He looks really, really good. But I mean, Cam is doing something ridiculous, like the first Riviere run in opens. And as well on the score. So yeah, it's tough to not pick him really.
I think the slightly later finish for Cam in the doubles. Both had tough doubles matches, but Cam finishing a bit later. And Nicky looking on imperious form with the targets, I think is going to help him, and I think he's going to nick a set. So I'm going to go first set Nick, but I think Camden will then be too strong. He's got that ridiculous open record. He's not lost a match at Queens for six odd years. I think he's going to be a bit too strong. So 3-1 Howell the first set is my prediction.
Well, you two have got commentary to get to. The players are starting to warm up behind us. So let's have a look back at the British Open so far.
Good evening and welcome to the Sir John Ritblat 2024 British Open Singles Final. My name is Bendit Yorston and joining me in the commentary booth is Bertie Vallet. Good evening, Bertie.
Hi Ben, great to be commentating alongside you today.
Really good to be here for this match. Those of you who have been with us for a little while will have heard some of our pre-match conversation, as well as seeing a couple of wonderfully compiled montages and analysis of the tournament so far, coming from the T&RA's media mogul Ben Gatenbeek, who is once again with us this evening to manage the excellent streaming that we've got for the match this evening. How do you see this one going, Bertie?
Yeah, as we discussed in the pre-match show, I just think Camden's been on such strong form. Not just this tournament, but for the last 15 years. So really hard to pick against him. But that's not to write off Nicky. I think he's playing really well. I'd love to see him get push Cam, and yeah, I think he's definitely capable of taking a set.
And we have a little look at Nicky here. So playing out of Aiken, the world number 3. Currently just behind John Lumley in the World Championship Eliminator race, as we were saying. If he won tonight, that would take him actually above John and give him a matchup with Steve Vigona. But barring that, he'll be taking on Ben Taylor Matthews instead. So some career highlights from Nick. So he won the French Open in 2023, giving him his first Open title. He was stopped by the man on the other side of the net in the Open this year, as we've discussed as well. Great form in the Aussie Open. No surprises there, given his nationality, and a World Championship final eliminator contender, just losing out to John Lumley in the last edition of that.
Yeah, and there we see largely wins, and his only loss to the other finalist for tonight, so we can see what kind of form he's in.
So you can see actually that Nick's tournament history has seen him play Camden twice in the last 2 years, going out in the semi-final both times. Fairly one-sided affair back in 2022, losing 2-1 and 2. But last year's semi, a much closer affair. He had 2 set points in that first set, a 5-3 lead, a 5-4 lead. So he was definitely taking the game to Camden, and he'll be hoping for that tonight. And as we were saying, I think a fast start is probably important for him once Camden's got a lead. That is not a position anyone wants to be in. And speaking of, Camden Riviere.
Not an awful lot to be said about Camden that hasn't already been said. Playing off plus 18, it's the strongest handicap in the world, and I think out of range of the second best handicap, so just in seriously good form.
Ben's done pretty well to fit all of the highlights onto the graphic there. We can see world champion on 3 occasions and defending it for the first time last year, defeating John Lumley. French Open champion multiple occasions, a lot of US titles, again no surprise there given his nationality. British Open champion here on multiple occasions, including in the last 2 editions of this tournament. Fewer Aussie Opens there, but partly due to the travel distance, not always able to attend and compete in that one. We see him with his black strings and black wayward rackets in the photo here. I think he's opting for some slightly more classical coloured frames this evening. We'll see how many rackets the 2 players get through tonight. They're both having to defend each other's forces. obviously a fairly smooth sailing through to the final of this tournament. Straight sets wins against Vaughan, Steve and Ben. Has dropped a set in the doubles last night to Ben, in fact, and Nino Marola. So not totally impervious this year. We'll see if Nikki can put some of that pressure on this evening.
And then we go, Neil Mackenzie introducing the players for tonight.
Need to serve.
Chase, better than 5 yards. Double.
And 2 immediate chases for Camden there, getting the service end.
Yeah, just catching inside the last gallery.
Exactly,
there.
exactly how you'd want to start this match at Queen's.
So Neil Mackenzie marking. Home pro here at Queen's, who knows the court very, very well.
And a very experienced marker in multiple opens and the doubles world championship this year at Chicago. So yeah, up to the challenge.
I'm sure we'll have 0 marking controversies this evening.
Lost the chase. 15 love. Chase worse than the last gallery.
Wow.
Great shot. We're up to our first winning gallery already.
Nicky not quite finding his length there, and Camden just slotting it away. Oh, that's a great rally from Nicky. We know how much he favours his cut volley, and then setting up that loose ball, finding the growl.
So three targets already between the players. So pretty fast starts from both.
Juice back. Close, time. Advantage, receiver.
Wow, it's a great first game from Nicky, beating Camden from the receiver side, which is no easy feat. great get.
It's a good scoop from Nicky. Camden did really well that rally actually. Had a backhand defence to dead on, a couple of balls scooped out of the corners. Nicky just scrapes that off the timbre into the galleries. And takes another gallery to change ends.
Nice to see Tim Chisholm sat in the first gallery supporting his doubles partner.
We've had a few comments in the chat during that live show. Outstanding from Benji, yet again, says Tom Cohunt. Couldn't agree more. A couple of mentions about the mics. Rest assured, we will do our best to speak at the right volume. But do let us know if you have any issues with the viewing. Do also let us know where you're watching from. Is it morning, afternoon, or evening? Whereabouts in the world are you watching this final from?
On the chase. 15 love receiver takes the second gallery.
Yeah, good put away from Nicky there. Take the hazards.
That's a brilliant shot from Nicky.
13-15. Takes nearly a yard worse than the last gallery. And chase worse than the last gallery to chase it.
I'd just like to echo the sentiments of Lewis Gordon in the live chat. This streaming setup, I mean, having seen a fraction of the work that Ben Gietemik has put into this, this whole setup, this event, it is just incredible what he's done for the game. As commentators, we're gonna do our best to fix the mic volume, but I think on behalf of the players, just really grateful to have the great streaming setup that we do. What a brilliant get from Camden there, missing the timbre.
Chase worse than the last gallery. Lost it. 40-30.
I think we'd probably like to see a few more errors early on in this game as both players find their range. Chance for a 2-0 lead here for Nick.
Miles Hember, without wanting to get too political, I can confirm that Ben is very much a one-man army here at Queen's. Yeah, this is his initiative, and yeah, he's doing a fantastic job.
And given we were talking about the two courts earlier, that was planned for this year, but I think testament to Ben is when last year sweating forced myself and Rob Schenkman onto the West Court. I think within about 13 minutes flat, Ben set up an entire streaming setup on a different court without any preparation. Yeah, good stuff from Nicky there.
Wow,
Took the
I mean,
time.
this is the start that Nicky Howell have been dreaming of.
Exactly.
Two games to love up.
Fast start, and he's finding targets. Exactly what he needed.
Takes more than a yard worse than the last gallery.
Wow, Nicky Howell finding the grill there. Hardly putting a step wrong so far this match. Oh wow, what a rally that is, and serious improvisation in that forehand corner from Nicky. Moving into the corner quickly, misreading the bounce, and then turning on a 360 axis and playing a backhand under the winning gallery.
As we said, the difficulty with Cam is just trying to find a winning shot. It's so easy to hit 3-4 shots that might be winners against other players and still not get the reward. But Nicky's managing to do that here, not just with the weapon from the receiving end, hitting forces, finding the dead on, but also cut shots as we saw there, putting a lot of work on the ball, managing to win points. And a really strong cut volley once again brings up 3 love to Nick Howell. You can see the serve percentages there. There's only one player dominating at the moment, and it's not the world champion. Another dead on from Nick Howell, looking completely unflustered in the British Open final.
Chase, yard best in the second gallery. 30 love. Chase, Western 1, change end.
That's a great shot from Nicky. Just seeing him kind of ride the momentum he's generated so far this match. Camden, I'm sure, won't be too worried though. He's been, it's not that uncommon to see him work his way into a match and have a slower start on paper.
Indeed, yeah, he came from behind against Nick in the semi-final last year. I think something that's interesting from Nick actually so far is obviously we talked about the force, and he's hit a number of fantastic looking dead-ons, but that cut volley is looking very strong into Camden's backhand corner at the moment.
Wow, it's just too good from Camden.
That's really good. Camden just withheld the pressure there, managed to get the ball back to a length when Nick was attacking aggressively. Gets his reward. Worse than a yard now.
Camden turning on that ball, and it's just so hard to read. The main ball boast, all the cross-court shot, he's got them all. Ooh, there we go.
What a finish.
Not the initial kill shot Nicky was aiming for, but he gets the second chance and yeah, doesn't miss.
$15 love time.
Yeah, as good as Camden is at chasing sets while behind, he'll be pretty desperate not to go 5 love down.
$30 love.
I mean, wow, the Nick Railroad and then finding that,
15,
finding Cam's backhand corner. Seriously solid from Nicky.
Well marked.
40-15.
Couple of errors this game.
Yeah, chance for Cam to get on the scoreboard in this first set. Oh, there it is. Cam was in a really awkward situation there in that rally at the net with Nicky retrieving that ball under the winning gallery, but just using his boast to completely reset the rally.
Second gallery.
I don't think Cam will mind that too much. He almost looked like he almost thought about leaving the house in the previous point. Went galleries, just missed. Don't mind that though.
Yeah, just seeing a couple of errors from Cam that I'm sure he'll eliminate as the match goes on. Yeah, great shot from Nicky.
30 love.
Wow, Cam sending Nicky the wrong way there and finding Chase half a yard.
Yeah, great hold.
Wow, it's amazing to see almost 300 people on the live stream at this early stage in the match. Be great to see that number keep growing, and great to see so many in the live chat as well. Waverley Racket Club, the newest racket manufacturing brand in, well, I guess it's court tennis for them. Supporting Cam, who's using their, I think it's the Wayward Pro 2 model.
Other racket suppliers are available.
And some nice appreciation for the streaming and the work that Ben's done. So yeah, great to see.
That cut volley coming in effective once again, and Nick has 3 points for 5-1. But it's better than half a yard for the first one. Yeah, really tight serve from Cam there. Did give Nicky quite enough room.
It's more than the worse than last
Yeah,
gallery.
Nicky disguising that well, and Cam looking slightly caught off guard by the cross-court ball. It looked like his kind of movement was shifted towards the left, and he was preempting a straight force.
Yeah, it obviously sounds odd to say that a shot's made better by a previous one, but the fact that he's found a couple of really good forces down the line into Cam's forehand is just keeping him honest. Just is keeping him honest.
40, 15,
Rob did
70,
similar in multiple world
worse
championships.
than the
If you
last
can make the
gallery.
player guess a little more, not be able to preempt.
And all your shots become better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great
shot
away.
from Nicky, and he goes 5-1 up in this first set.
Server, 5 games to
It's
1.
beginning to look like my prediction is in some trouble.
I'm quite liking the look of mine at the moment.
Out of court. 15 love.
I've just been informed by the director that Nick has never previously won a set off Cam in singles, so I mean, he's looked unstoppable so far, but may he be facing some kind of mental block here? Not sure.
It was on this court a year ago that he came closest and had 2 set points at 5-4. Had a 5-3 lead.
Yeah.
He's got an even bigger one here.
Ooh.
Better than 2.
Down
30
call
love.
by Neil there.
Ball did roll. Cam finding that roller length, roller kind of floor backward length at Queens that works so well.
Better than 2 twice.
Finds
30
another chase.
love.
Interesting just to watch Nick's railroad here, because actually the first few he hit today were, just from the sound and the flight of the ball, he was hitting them a lot spinnier, a little bit slower than he had been previously. And Rob was actually hitting the same type of railroad to great effect. It's always hard at Queens, getting that railroad to cut back. It seems to go for a couple of firm ones there. We'll see how he varies it.
Neil
as the match goes
McKenzie
on.
in the marker's box.
30 love.
His own British Open run,
lead.
sadly cut short by an injury, but great to see him. Great to see him at Queens again.
Lost 40 love. Chase better
Yeah,
than
2
2.
trays better than 2s at 30 love down. Tough game to win for Nick. Especially if
Wow.
Camden serves like that.
That I feel like one area of
Game
Cam's
seven.
game that I feel like,
2 games to 5.
I'm not going to say improved, but I feel like it's different. It's the use of these high serves. I feel like historically at Queens we've seen a lot of railroads and cut sidewalls.
Oh, I agree completely. And I mean, I think I probably would say it's an improvement if you've got the same serves plus some variety that you can use against some particular players. I think that's a great weapon to have.
Chase.
A little short
1
on that
and 2.
one though, and that's just going to let Nicky step in
15 love.
and keep crunching that aggressive cut right across court.
$15 all.
Yeah, good put away from Camden there,
I feel
finding the
like we've
grill.
seen a step up here from Cam.
30-15.
Yeah, I can't remember an unforced error from the last couple of games, whereas there were a few at the very beginning.
Chase better than half a yard. 2 chases.
But yeah, no, just to refer back to Cam's serving, I feel like tactically that's a really strong move. Nicky, we know, likes his force, which is significantly easier to do off a ball with pace, such as a kind of fast railroad. So giving him that slow ball in the air to work with is seems to me like Cam's strongest option.
Lost the chase.
Well left by Nicky.
30 all. Better than half a yard.
Big point here. Big point. Camden's got to find a dead on, really.
Oh,
Lost it.
that is unlucky.
Underside
40,
of the dead
30.
on.
That gives Nicky his
First set point.
set point against Cam.
And he's at the serving end.
And he's done it.
He's done it.
First set.
He's
for
done
Nicky,
it.
6 games to 2.
Big fist pump to the crowd there. Nick Howell takes
Wow.
his first set off Camden Riviere, and we have a British Open final on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
Cam isn't in this position all that often, but yeah, time for him to reset.
It's the last gallery.
Probably actually practices that shot.
Chase Takes more than your words, 2 chases.
So 2 chases for Cam there, and our pre-match predictions. Bertie, how's yours going?
Yeah, my pre-match prediction was thrown out pretty quickly with that first set going to Nicky. But yeah, no, I'd love to see him push Cam in this match. Cam obviously pretty unchallenged for the last decade or so in singles. So great to see how he reacts to the pressure from Nicky.
Should make a great final, and yeah, Giles Doy is absolutely correct. That is the first set Nicky has taken off Cam in open play in singles.
Yeah, Nicky will be annoyed to have given Cam that ball on the penthouse, but he's under a lot of pressure here. An understandable mistake to make. Wow.
Yeah, good look up from Cam there. Saw Nicky charging towards the hazards. Just boxed it under the grill. Lucky. Great first read from Nick there.
Pause young.
That's a great get from Cam, just curling it past the timbre, and Nicky setting his weight just a little preemptively there. So yeah, we see Cam take the first game of the second set. Wow, that is ridiculous dead on defence from Camden there. He makes it look so easy. Great shot from Nicky.
Yeah, that cut volley has been effective all evening so far.
It'll be interesting to see Nicky's stats, but he's looked seriously dominant from the receiver side, which, yeah, few people can do at Queens.
All time.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, uncharacteristic error. It's a fantastic bit of dead on defence just to get that force. Not just back, but also on the floor on the hazards.
Wow, what a shot.
Volley. What a volley.
Comment of the day from Real Tennis superfan Tom Carew-Hunt. Glad to hear that the audio has been found for you, and you'll be pleased to know that Nick Undertone-Jones will be commentating the doubles final alongside myself tomorrow.
Mike Carter also commenting that Nick Howell is on fire earlier on in the first set, and then commenting as he closed it out, he's still on fire. He is indeed. He is finding targets all over the place. That cut volley also looking very, very dangerous. He saw a pretty fantastic backhand volley just to round off his whole game.
Does anyone know if Cam and Nicky have played each other in an age group event? At 39 years old, I'm sure that over 40s British Open at Seacourt is going to be one of the highlights of Nicky's real tennis calendar next year. Looking forward to seeing him battle it out.
With Rob Fay, probably.
15 love.
Wow, that's such a great shot.
30 love. Chase, better than
Yeah,
5.
that's a clever variation from Cam, just finding the main wall a lot earlier than Nicky was expecting and firing it at his head. Wow, what a shot.
Great shot.
Nicky,
Yeah, just on that variation, you know, when the ball's flying around this fast, it's a little bit like baseball players. As much as it looks like the players are, you know, defending these dead-ons because of their great hands, half of the work is because they've already moved, they've already taken that step sideways to defend that main wall. You see Cam do it so well, reading the player's main wall, but that does mean if they misread it, as Camden managed to force Nicky to do there, they're in a little bit of trouble.
40 love, receive
great
lead.
analogy for our friends on the other side of the Atlantic there.
I try and avoid talking about baseball, but felt like I'd throw them a bone. I'll make sure the next one's about
First
cricket.
game receiver, 2 games to 1.
Yeah, that cut volley into Cam's backhand, it just feels like Nick's putting more weight on it than most people do.
Wow.
It's back down into that corner again, but off the timber.
Nicky hitting some high quality shots into the corner, and though Cam might expect to get that one back, we can't discredit Nicky for that rally. It was a great shot.
30 love time.
I think we're seeing the impact of this kind of constant barrage and pressure from Nick. It's just keeping those errors, not regularly, but enough.
$40 love.
He's got a chance for 3-1 here.
It's worse than the
Nicky
second
annoyed to
gallery,
miss a
40
dead on
love.
there, but really not the worst result in the world. He's looked really strong from the server side all week and
Well, you can see from
serving a
these
slow
stats
railroad
here,
really well.
Up at 61% from the service end in the first set, and it's actually crept even higher since with the second. Anything interesting you see here?
Yeah, I'm just
Unexpected?
very relieved to see the stats backing me up
40
there.
love serve.
61%
Worse than the
of
second
points,
gallery.
one from the server side from Nicky.
Winning pretty much 3 points to every 2 of Camden's. Not
Not
something you
shabby.
see every day. Not something you see every day. Great length from Camden.
15-40.
Camden getting some success with just cutting it into the corner and back to basics. Wow,
But Nick takes the game.
Nicky doing really well to find that part of the court, and maybe a little bit fortunate with the main wall and then the straight timber combo, but he's finding the right areas of the court and he's being rewarded.
I think we're starting to get some slightly longer rallies from the players as they both eliminate some of those mistakes.
I feel like those longer rallies will not only favour Camden, but if he is feeling a little slow at the start of this match, then they'll give him the opportunity to kind of get moving and work his way into it a bit. Nicky missing that ball, but really great to see him working the demi-piqué second serve and making the most of that warped final plank of the penthouse at Queen's.
Hazard, first gallery, no stroke.
I think that's the kind of shot that Camden starts to force as he picks up more and more. Players start to go for the target so much.
Wow.
And a second bounce gallery.
Gallery there, but I mean that really is a miss we don't see too often from Camden. Really, that's the kind of ball he spends the rally looking for and very rarely misses. So.
Meanwhile, we have a definitive answer to the age range question. Ben telling us that Camden and Nick did never meet at the Younger Opens. Nick came to the game later than Camden, and they first met in the 2014 US Open final. He has, of course, answered that question while cutting between about 7 different cameras and running an entire streaming service.
Yeah, two interesting players actually when it comes to the age range competitions. Nicky, of course, always being around the game, growing up at the Oratory School, but actually playing on the pro golf circuit for a number of years before deciding to go all in on real tennis at a later age.
Very sporty family, a lot of cricket talent there as well.
And then, of course, Camden, the polar opposite. He's played real tennis from the age of 5, I think, and always to an exceptional level. He did play the Junior British Open here at Queen's. Where I believe he lost to Bryn Sayers a number of times. So yeah.
Was Bryn born good at Queen's?
Probably.
Good read from Nick actually on the main ball timbre. He's in the right position.
Camden, showing some emotion, getting himself pumped up. He knows now is kind of go time. It's one thing to have one slow set, but a two set to love deficit is
big mountain to climb.
That's a lot of pressure that I'm sure he'd like to spare himself in this British Open final.
Tiger just pointing out that Camden did indeed win the Junior British Open, so we'll find his name on the trophy next to yours, Bertie.
Yeah, two names you don't see together very often, or you shouldn't do.
That is game 3 games all. 3-all.
Tiger watching from Aiken. Viewers from around the world.
Wow,
Well
that's
played
a
from
great
Camden.
backhand volley from Nicky, and when Camden has been into finders form, you can tell because he just slots the second gallery on a ball like that.
Yeah, similar to the earlier one, as you were saying, that's the ball that Camden's hoping for all point. Just uncharacteristically finding the penthouse once again.
It looks like. I mean. Wow.
Good
That
luck.
ball just completely died. Camden can hit the ball seriously hard, and I feel like we're just seeing him taking quite a lot off of his forces at the moment, and not actually hitting the ball as hard as he can do. It looks like a few of them are being floated around, so maybe as the match goes on, we'll see an increase in pace from Camden.
Got a few people watching from Oxford. Chris Lintott having a watch before hopping on the court himself. And got to applaud Theo Silkston, who is introducing his newborn to the beautiful game of real tennis with a British Open final, and calling out the highlights montage before the game as being well worth a watch. Can very much second that opinion. So here we go, 3-all, second gallery.
Yeah, it's a great shot from Camden. Nicky just knew that was going to be tough lunging in, but
just a little straight on the
catching
cut
the sidewall first.
Camden's slightly getting away with that one. A bit of a short serve, really.
I'm sure he meant that serve to be a bit higher, but
So Nicky's turn to find a couple of penthouses on forces, and it's giving Camden a chance to take the lead in this set.
yeah, the crucial 7th game.
And he does so.
And there
he
it
does
is.
so. I mean, when Camden's middling volleys onto the hazards, as opposed to Nick finding the frames, that's going to be a big difference in this set. I think they both just wanted a few more warm-up shots.
Yeah, Nicky, I think, unintentionally firing that return at Camden's head.
Yeah, it was a really nice roll from Nick, but Camden's put that to such a good length and width around the timbre.
That's a brilliant return. What's Camden said there? Did we hear that?
It was a come on. I think he might have been hoping for a fault.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because it was close.
That one's rolled.
30-15.
See Camden
Luck
get
goes both ways.
a lot more vocal here in this second set. Feels like we've seen an increase in energy from the world champion. But Nicky's staying with him at 4-3 down, but 30-all.
Such tight margins. You know, Nick's got the angle on the cut volley there, but it's just a tiny bit longer than he's been finding, and that's just going to let Camden find his own winners. As he pulls almost neck and neck on points 1.
Oh, Nicky just finding the perfect width on that burst, forcing Camden to play it as it's on the wall.
So Neil's got a tough job because Camden's serving precisely almost at that fault line to keep the railroad short. that's the difference. That's the length that Nick wants on the cut
Yeah, it's
volley.
the perfect cut volley.
That's going to draw the error.
Wow, and he takes that game, making it 4-all. Still only one set.
You saw just a slightly looser serve there. Let Nicky unwind.
Wow.
And he does again.
15 love.
Mike Carter, we need another comment.
Yeah, Cam finding
As is Camden though.
Feels like he's really tightened up with his target count here.
Yeah, it's just those serves just going a little higher up the penthouse, coming out a little wider and a little deeper in the court. That's what's letting Nicky just tee off on the main wall.
We discussed earlier how, as a player with such a strong force, the fast railroad might play into Nicky's strength slightly unless Camden can consistently find a nick.
Oh,
he's done it again.
Oh, stop it.
That is incredible.
Nick cannot miss. I think he hit 3 forces there that probably would have gone past 99% of real tennis players. But it's the third one that gets past Camden. Switch up of serving tactics on the first serve there.
More than your worst in the last
Nicky
gallery.
mixing it up well there because he hasn't.
40-15.
Oh, Camden looking up at the gallery there. He's not happy with that call from Neil. It did stay super low to the ground though, so tough one to call. And Nicky at 4-all. We have 350 people on the live stream here.
Well, actually, as I was pointing out to me in the doubles, it's 350 viewing devices, and of course, multiple clubs might have a crowd, so we're probably close to 500 odds.
Combine that with the packed upper gallery here at Queen's and the side gallery is beginning to fill up too. Yeah, brilliant atmosphere here at the Queen's Club.
Wow.
Nicky will be annoyed to have missed the hazard galleries twice there, but against anyone else it's good enough.
Winning gallery by a couple of centimetres, hazard second by a couple of centimetres. Such tight margins.
And Cam, who did well there to not let that outcry during the rally get to him as he won that point.
Again, so close. Great angle from where we are.
He was so close to finding the grill there.
A centimetre away.
The Maymore Tamber's really not a bad shot. He just missed that last one.
Advantage receiver.
We're at the business end of this second set, and it's Camden who comes out on top at 4-all.
That
with his first dead on.
That game felt very significant. Camden will be super relieved to have snatched that one back. Wow, that's a super controlled shot from Nicky. So easy to just overhit that loose ball, but that's a really mature shot actually.
Chase, less than 2 yards.
I think it was a really good response as well, actually, just going back to the previous shot, because they'd lost a few in a row.
Chase, less than 3.
A couple of chases for Camden, though. see here, replay. That chance for Nick. Tucked away underneath the grill. Great cut on the ball.
15 love receiver. Chase worse than
So here we go.
2.
Will Camden close out the second set, or is Nick going to put us back to 5-all?
That high serve looked good, but Nick will be relieved to see it just drift past the fault line.
Lost the chase, 15 all, worse than 3.
Worse than 3 here.
Lost the chase.
Yeah, I think Nick might have preferred a cut volley on that
13,
chase, but
15, 7.
Camden finding a long serve, keeping it tight enough.
Chase worse than 6 yards. 30, 50.
That's the one.
I just really don't
That's
know what
the
to
one.
serve at Nick, because Cam just had 2 great straight railroads there, and off the same ball, Nicky slapped the main ball Nick and then cut it into the corner. Wow.
40, 30.
You read it. Well, actually, you saw Camden hit. I think for the first time, perhaps even since the first couple of games of the first set, you saw Camden hit that short main wall, side wall penthouse railroad, which you saw him hit to great effect against Rob in 2018, until Rob did exactly what Nick's now doing, which is slapping that main wall about as hard as he possibly can. And when it's going at that pace, it's so hard to deal with, because it almost doesn't matter if it's going to hit the dead on or if it's
Yeah, the
going to go
result's
low.
good regardless.
Results
Yeah.
a chase or a dead on, so it's hard to deal with. Looks like Nick's trying to hit that serve sort of out of Camden's game if he can.
Oh wow.
Does put us back to juice. He saves Camden's first set point. That was a great serve
Receiver.
and a pretty good return, considering. It is set point number 2.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's so well
What
played.
a way to save set points.
So well played from Nick. A really smart boast, actually, spotting Camden
Right.
drifting towards the timber, and he's tucked it
Crowd
away
showing their
again.
appreciation for Nicky there.
Chase worse than 6 yards.
Slightly off pace, cut volley, dropping short, giving Camden a chase, which he'll have been looking for.
Advantage on Chase.
Big come on from Camden there. He brings up another set point. He's going to have the service end to attack it from. So yeah, Nick's had some chance in this set. As you said, there was a really significant game between the two of them, which could have gone either way. Couple of misses, couple of great shots from Camden, who's defending with his volley in particular a lot better than he was earlier on the match. Just watching again there, that great put away from Nick. Wrong foot in Cam.
That's the set for Cam.
Nick wrong footed by the serve, and it is the set for Camden. We are back at parity. It is 1 set all.
But really, I mean, Nick did have his chances to take that. Well, definitely had his chances to go 5-4 up in that set. Camden looking very pumped up. There was a big outcry after that point. I'm sure he'll want the crowd to get involved here and cheer him on a bit.
Yeah, he'll be much happier now that they're back at evens. I think this is where the tricky task for Nick is to regroup and not let Camden build up a big head of steam. But I think we saw in the doubles, given that Rob and Steve saved a match point and then took the fourth set. Nick and Leon were both able to regroup, absolutely, to their credit, to keep coming out, keep firing, not let their heads drop. So I don't think being pegged back to 1-1 is going to have too much mental impact there. But it's obviously just Camden one set closer to the title, and both of them still needing 2 sets to take it.
Yeah, no, it sounds obvious, but Nick has just got to keep going for his shots. I feel like he's playing really great tennis. Cam did appear a bit rattled in in both of those sets. So if he can just make life as uncomfortable and awkward for Cam as possible, then the momentum might yet again go his way.
Usually the biggest difference being on serves won on Nick's side. He was up at a whopping 80% very early on in the match. That dropped down a little bit, but was around 60, down at 36% in that second set in the end. I think two big factors: him finding a few more penthouses on the force, but also even when he's on target, Camden's just doing so much better than he was early on in the match at just killing that ball, getting it down into the hazards, taking all the pace off it. That's so hard to then deal with when you're hitting the ball hard as you can across the net and it's coming back on the floor. Suddenly you're on defence.
So here we are, British Open final. We are 1 set all, and yeah, a seriously high level of play from both players so far in this match.
Both certainly settling into their rhythm a bit. I think Nick will be hoping to get back to his target hitting from the first set. I think Camden will be feeling pretty happy with those last few games. So here we go. 1 set all, level.
Love.
That one's just floated in.
30 love.
Takes Camden ahead on the grow count.
Chase, better than 2.
Nick straight back to it with the cart volley. So both players still finding their shots.
Oh yes, wow.
Crazy good.
Would be brilliant to have everyone's thoughts in the live chat. Where are you watching from? What are your thoughts on this match so far? And
especially how that second set changes the makeup of the game, I think.
And how do you see it playing out? Ben will be hoping for a 3-1 Camden as per his prediction.
Well, the prediction was that it's looking accurate at the moment, but I wouldn't mind a 5-set match, to be honest. Especially if they could both keep playing like this.
Won the chase.
That's a fantastic cut volley from Camden. He's beaten the chase and he takes the first game of the third set. The momentum definitely swung his way.
Second gallery, no stroke.
Camden eliminating those high penthouse forces we'd seen in the first and start of the second set there. Great shot from Nicky.
15 all.
Oh, that's so good from both of them.
Simply
That is
incredible
so
volley
good.
from Nick Howell.
Fantastic attack from Nicky, but a ridiculous 3-4 gets in a row from Camden. That's how good these players both are.
30-15.
There we go.
I think this is a really big game for Nicky. He's had the chance in the second. Camden's got a bit of a head of steam. He's taken the lead in the third set. I think it's important. Yeah, he gets on the board.
Yeah, you can't let Camden build momentum here. I feel like as soon as Cam gets that 2 or 3 game lead, he's such a strong front runner. He's been in this position so many times to win an Open. Once he gets that lead, he may well run away with it. So Nicky just needs to keep maintaining that awkward scoreline for Cam. Wow.
Yeah, slightly framed cut volley from Nick there. Really good put away from Camden.
Two great shots from Cam to defend both of those game points for Nicky. That is incredible. What a shot that is.
Good pace from Nick up the court, not letting that one drop onto the stroke line. He'll want to get back down the serving end.
Wow.
And he does so with advantage with the main wall dead on.
Maybe Nicky's doing something different with his main wall, disguising it well, but I think Cam is so far up the court there, it looked like he looked a little bit resigned on that shot, like he saw it going in and wasn't in the right place to cover it. So maybe in this match we'll see him, it sounds crazy to say that Cam's doing, like, say that I'd change anything in his game, but maybe we'll see him drop back during the match to cover those main walls as Nicky is getting increasingly accurate with them. Oh.
Nice change up with the bows from Camden. Nick did get there, couldn't quite get it back over. Back to Juice.
Worse than 5 yards.
That penthouse ball finding the edge of the side penthouse bando. Just wrong footing Nick and getting a chase for Camden.
Two chases for Nicky that are very, very beatable from the receiver side. So yeah, that Juice, this game really is anyone's. And with Camden at 1 game to love up, this does feel quite important.
You're absolutely right about the main walls, and we saw Nick pull off a great main wall defence there. And I suspect part of it might be, I think Nick's just letting that ball run a little further in front of him and holding before he's striking it a little bit more. And we've seen him put a couple of those down the line. I think it's keeping Camden guessing.
Lost the chase for the last. Advantage, server, Hazard.
Just overcooks the cut volley. So, chance for 2-0 for Camden, so Hazard chase.
Wow, I mean, the control there to be able to decide between, do I want to put this railroad in the Nick, or do I want it to be tight to the side wall, high on the back wall?
And we're even when it comes to bandos giving us chases. Yeah, takes the Hazard. Great hold from Nick.
Deserved point from Nicky there. Two great shots. Just A little look at Neil there. I think he thought Cam hadn't reached that get in the forehand corner, but
Was also a really nice bit of disguise from him as well, actually, on the previous point. Threatening that force, but then just tucking it in the corner.
Chase 7-1, 2 chases.
Takes the second hazard. So Camden, yeah, very much looking like the player in the ascendancy at the moment. Any thoughts on things that Nick could do differently? Any plan B that he might look to explore if Camden continues to play this imperiously?
I'm not really sure that Nick is much of a plan B kind of player, to be honest. I think when he's playing well, he's good enough to challenge just about anyone.
On the chase. 30-15.
And if he's not playing well, then he's going to do everything he can to return to form. So.
Camden winning both the hazard chases there, and a chance for 3-love and a pretty significant lead in this third set.
Yeah, and suddenly this set feels like it's slipping a bit for Nicky.
A few more serves like that would help.
I just say the wrong thing every time.
I mean, that was obviously a fantastic grill, but all set up by the super tight railroad, tucking into that sideball.
Cam goes 3 games to love up on this third set.
3 games to love. 3-love.
Yeah, he's fired up. We see there the difference in the railroads, which is when it's that far out, Camden can turn on it. He's got a lot of options.
And in these first 2 sets, Cam, I feel like, slightly took the pressure off Nicky by just when that weaker serve did come, he wasn't always finding his targets. But we're seeing a difference now in this third set.
He's joined the dead-on party.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great hold from Camden. What a rally that is.
Just saw Nick step left to go and cover the backhand corner, pops it down into the forehand corner for chase half a yard.
Oh, slightly dud. A bit of a dud bounce there for Nicky. Just catching him out. And suddenly it feels like it's all momentum for Cam.
Worse than the first gallery, 2 chases.
Yeah, we've seen the impact that serving's having on this game, which is where Camden's let Nick have space and where Nick's let Cam have space. They've both been punished for it a lot. So as much as we're looking at these deadlocks, looking at these grills, a lot is coming from that, and Camden seems to have, in the last set and a half or so, found a way to keep Nicky under control at that receiving end.
Lost the chase, 40-15.
That's unlucky.
Hazard worse than the first gallery. Hazard.
Cam's so great. On that hazard chase, Cam just serves that fast throw arrow to the high back wall so well, keeping it tight to the side wall.
love.
Wow.
Oh, great tennis from both
Incredible
players there.
tennis.
Brilliant read from Camden to stop the bounce gallery. Nick anticipating super on the front of the timbre, and Cam just popping into the winning gallery to finish it off.
First ball Cam's missed in a while, really.
I think winning galleries cancel out errors.
40-50.
Camden up to 4 now, more significantly. Closing in on a 5 love lead.
Yeah,
Which he takes.
Well, it's about, almost a flawless game there.
5 love, 5 love.
As Cam makes it 5 love. Camden pushing up to, I think, almost at chase 5 there when he hit one of those volleys. Allowing him to cut off that cross-court and straight force option from Nicky.
Oh, Nick doing really well there with the net cord just to
Adapting.
adjust.
15 love.
I'm sure he's still focused on this game at the moment, but I wonder if we'll see Nick try and get back up this end if the set does look lost.
Yeah, great time to take gallery there.
Just to replay of that fantastic point, great read from Nick on the tap twice. Camden scooping out of the second gallery and then just popping in the winning gallery. Beautiful finish.
(30-15) receiver, chase worse than 2 yards. (30-15) worse than 2. (40-15) chase the second
It
gallery.
is 2 set points for a 2-1 lead for Camden.
Oh. Time. Game and set. Well done, Cam.
Camden does
Yeah,
take
there
it
it
6
is.
games to love.
After a seriously tight opening couple of games, Camden did run away with that slightly. And now is the time for Nicky to reset and think about this 4th set, 5th set, 4th set.
4th. Good maths.
4th set.
Yeah.
15
Camden's feeling it now.
court. 15 all.
It was a really tough one if you just lost the set, the way that the game just rolls straight through in real tennis.
Yeah, so I mean, after a 6-love, it's just getting that first game into the next set, just to break up momentum.
Takes West in the last gallery. 30-15. Second gallery from
JG 3142. I completely agree. It is great. I mean, yeah, as I said, it is really difficult to knock back Cam in in a best of 5 Open final. He has just been so dominant for so long. It's super hard to not back him. But yeah, no, it's great to see Nicky playing this well. Really pushing Cam.
That's
Taking that opening
great for the game,
set.
seeing John and Nick both taking sets off Cam, pushing him. Marola as well, always in the conversation.
Yeah. And we know he'll be watching.
On the Jays, 40.
Beautiful from
So
Cam.
good.
Big target when you're playing a chase. All of the hazards and the winning gallery.
That volley off the main wall from Camden is absolutely crazy.
I think that's. We've not seen many of the main wall defence from him. But that's
Yeah,
what makes him so
it
hard
feels
to play
like
against.
he's
when you're
really
seeing that.
beginning to just get, Oh, I did it again. I was about to say he hasn't missed a volley. And when Cam
Great finish again.
finds this kind of form, it just feels like the court is so small. And he's got so much time on the ball.
Oh, great
wow.
tennis. Great tennis. Both players looking just so solid cross court. Camden coming out on top.
30-15.
Wow.
So good again. Camden Riviere is waving his wayward wand.
It's better than the last
So a few
gallery,
more comments in the
40-15.
chat since. So Mike Carter, pretty poetic take actually. Leave a fire smouldering and it will sometimes self-reignite. But was Nicky smouldering or extinguished? Let us know, smouldering or extinguished. What do you guys think in the chat? Giles Doy, great pre-show by the way, gents. Excellent hosting, Ben. You're way better than the host from last year. A little bit of self-deprecation there, Giles. Having watched that show back in preparation for this, you were rather excellent. Paul Bollerman, it do be looking like the
40-15
fast start from
lead.
Nick. 3-1 prediction will hold unless Nicky can win some more points in his serve. I do take PayPal and real tennis rackets if anyone wants the lottery numbers.
Lost the chase. 30-40.
Now I've said that, Nick's going to go and win the full set, isn't he?
Mm. That's a great railroad from Nicky. And this game is crucial for him to disrupt Cam's momentum.
Yeah, Ben will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're at 9 games in a row for Camden now. on Stephen Camden there, just
Advantage server.
flagging that he didn't quite get under that one. Good to see. You said about serving, it's a couple of strong railroads there that have really helped Nicky out, and crucially he gets back on the board. That one a little looser,
15 love.
and it's Cam punishes it straight
I
away.
feel like we're seeing a lot more variation in Nicky's railroad as opposed to the in the first two sets where it was consistently a 1 or 2 bounce, staying low on the back wall.
Sure.
Just throwing in that deeper, wider railroad, it's just giving Cam the space and the time to turn on the ball and hit his main ball force.
Great put away.
That's such a good shot.
30-15. Next.
Oliver Vidana watching
30
from the
all.
MURTC Clubroom. Go Cam. So good support for both players in the chat.
Throw. 40-30.
That looks, I mean, just from up here we can see what an awkward, ugly ball that was from Cam. Really spinny, curving. An understandable miss from Nicky.
Chase. Better than 4. Again.
Yeah, good put away there from Camden. So, although, I can't really talk given my prediction was aligned with yours with the end result, I do think that a lot of the time we do say, Cam's unstoppable, you can't bet against him. But obviously at some point there does have to come an end to that streak in opens. So who do you think is the most
40-30.
likely to put an
Serve
end to that?
lead. Chase better than 4.
Every ship is unsinkable until it sinks.
I mean, that really is the biggest question in the game at the moment. And I think it's I think the obvious answer would be John Lumley playing off, plus 12. 5 years younger than Cam, working at a Philly racket club. And number 2 in the world. Great shot.
I think what's really interesting is between Nick and Ben and John, sorry, you've got two incredibly contrasting styles of play.
Wow.
Great defence
What
of Nick
an
there.
effort to
What
find the galleries.
a defence of the grill.
Advantage 1 chase.
That one's just floating out of court, so a bit of AV love in the chat from Yajin, from Oliver, both of whom have been helping out Ben this week, along with Jacqueline and Annika. So shout out to all of Ben's fantastic team who've been helping at different stages in this week, including the simulcast double
there we go.
course.
Set 3 summary. Yeah, we see Cam, seriously dominant on points 1. Points served actually somewhat similar, but then we see that Cam's winning 80% of his points from the service end, as opposed to Nicky's 30%. So yeah, I mean, no two ways about it. That is a seriously one-sided set. But Nicky's 2-1 down here. Really,
Chase the second gallery.
still everything to play for, and in this fourth set, it is as close as it could be.
And Chase, that is game 2 games to 1, 2-1.
And Camden does take the lead in this crucial fourth set. That's what Nick needs.
Yeah.
He needs to get a bit pumped up. He needs to get some of these targets
Yeah, that's
firing again.
the classic railroad and then volley grill combo from Nicky. Incredible retrieving there, and I think from that position of pressure in the forehand corner, a hazard result is a good result for Nicky there.
Yeah, well marked.
Edge it.
Very well marked, in fact.
Wow, Nicky
Put away.
absolutely unleashing
Good,
on that
put
backhand
away.
half volley. What a shot.
30 love. $15-30.
Yeah, again, Nick just having to try and anticipate that main wall, just getting caught out by the slightly wider angle.
Chase nearly on Western last gallery, 2 chases.
Exemplary marking this evening from Neil, especially in that first set where a lot of cam serves in particular were really hovering around that fault line. What do you think about marking from the net, Bertie, versus the dead on?
As if I were a marker, I could see, you know, the safety implications of marking from a net are quite severe. But if Neil's happy doing it, then I think probably was the That's so good. Wow.
Huge point there from Camden. Let's had a big come on. He knows that's huge.
If Neil's happy doing it, then it enables him to have a more direct. It feels like he's in the match a bit more, which is a good thing.
On the chase, and that's game.
Camden puts that one away as well.
Wow,
That is a
what a
big
strong way to
game.
take that game.
3 games to 1. Nick needs to hit back pretty quickly here.
Yeah, Nicky finding the gallery.
It's a good finish for Nicky, but I think
Slightly casual with that ball, but
I think weirdly that's the kind of rally that shows just how well Camden's playing, because he's scraping up everything in the corners now.
wow, what a backhand volley that is.
Still being put under pressure though. Yeah, really strong backhand volley from Nick.
15 love.
Important game for him, you feel.
Yeah, it's so good.
Progress.
Cam's error count has decreased drastically from the first set here as we see him just not missing the ball.
Except for the 2 points ago.
Except for that one. Hasn't missed the ball.
Chase.
There's lightning fast from Cam,
Yeah, I thought
but
it was a stroke, I think.
it did look like a stroke. Yeah.
And again, Neil taking the guidance from Camden.
Great honesty
Good
from
honesty
Cam.
again. Yeah. Camden nearing 100 points here.
$40-15, Casey first down.
So let's go Cam from Daniel Nagler in the chat. Daniel will probably be pretty happy with how this set is looking at the moment and the match. Camden 2 sets to 1 to the good, and he has the lead in this 4th set. Nicky needing to hit back here. Great sportsmanship overall, completely agree with both players making calls, I believe, and Neil very happy to take the players at their word. Great to see.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's going to
Yeah,
hurt Nick.
Nicky missing his targets there, and Cam not failing to make the most of the opportunity. Slotting a gallery.
Yeah, taking his time. He'll want to make it right at this point.
Wow, what
Unbelievable.
an unbelievable rally that is.
Unbelievable.
And what a crucial game for Nicky to win, staying alive in this 4th set.
Nick lets out a grin. He had to work so hard at that point. What real tennis we're
There's
seeing.
just so much to talk about in that rally, we might not, probably won't have time.
Better than 2. No stroke.
Chase called by Neil. Yeah, it's a really good
Yeah,
finish.
it's a great
from
rally.
Camden. Awkward ball spinning off the frame of Nick's racket on the dead end fence. What a rally, completely agree. That one's going on the highlight reel.
$15 all.
Oh, it feels harsh on Nicky there. But a great shot from Camden.
Chase better than second gallery, 2 chases.
So yeah, I think we forgot to mention that both of these players share a connection with Aiken Tennis Club. Nicky being the head professional, and Camden having learnt to play the game there. So hopefully at Aiken there's a large crowd cheering on both players.
30-15, serve the lead. Chase better than 2
Riviere with that
yards.
fantastic point in the previous game. Great retrieving off the tamper from Camden. It's well adjusted from Nick, setting up for the cut volley into
Better than the
Camden's
second
backhand.
gallery.
But it was a good bobble. Finds the frame though.
Oh,
Won it.
that is harsh.
40-30 receiver lead.
It gives Nicky a point to bring things back to level game scores in this fourth set. Wow.
That's a
What a
really,
shot.
really
What a
interesting
time to
change
do
up
it.
from Nick as well, actually. We've seen him hit that shot, especially at the main wall off Camden's side all railroad. That's the first time we've seen him do that on the straight one. And he follows it
Wow.
up with the same
What a
shot
shot.
off the main wall this time, finds the dead on.
What is Cam going to change here to fight off this resurgence from Nicky? Oh, great width.
I think it's a really smart tact from Nicky. He was close to Camden, but he's been slightly behind him for the last couple of sets. I think he was going to have to change something.
Yeah, there's a bit of a bounce on the step after that point there, and we're seeing his forced volley return come into play a bit more here. Oh, that's unbelievable. What a shot.
Good width from Camden.
Nicky was there, but it was just, the width was just too good. Oh, wow. And it stayed in.
Finish.
Giles Doy, what's the best / easiest court to attempt at a backwall boast?
Paris.
NJ says Oxford, I would say Paris.
Good read from Nick about that ball dropping just below the grill. But Camden finds the main wall tamper.
I think the answer is, though, it's going to be expensive wherever you try it. Yeah, it's a really sensible shot, taking the pace off it.
So we see Nick, same shot that brought him the previous game. But that's the risk of it. It's going to be low percentages.
Advancing.
That's a shot that's been servicing him very well all evening though. He finds the length on the cut volley. He's got one more game point for 4-3. Cam saves it again though. Back to juice.
I mean, Nick is just really zoning in on that floor side wall cut volley return.
I think obviously as well as bringing him those couple of points, those two really aggressive returns on Camden's railroad seem to have just settled him and got him feeling a little happy with the game again.
Oh, so good.
And he's found another dead
Looked
on.
like the main wall force was coming, but actually Nicky sends it straight. Cam off balance and can't cover both. Nicky takes the lead.
Finds the net take on that one though.
Wow.
I think Camden will be very happy to see that return hit the penthouse because it was one of those slightly longer, slightly looser railroads. But he had the chance and he took it. Yeah, that was a better one.
40 love time.
Hits back straight away. 40 love. Chance for 4 games all in the 4th.
Face the door.
Really nice
40
change up from
love.
Nicky actually. He wrong-footed Camden with the down the line force in the previous game, and he wrong-footed him with the down the line cover volley as well there. Gives him a chance to take a gallery. I think Camden changes his serve if Nick keeps striking that straight railroad into the dead on.
Chase the door.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see Cam go back to the that high serve or the bobble that we've seen used against Nick so far in the tournament. But I mean, it's hard to argue with the results of the last 2 sets. Oh no.
And his game, receiver.
Nick's racket hits the floor. He did so well that rally. He really earned the opportunity there, and he's just found the green net tape while trying to pop into the hazards. So we are at 4 all.
Yeah. To answer Tom's question, that is a very young Nick Howell on the poster outside the pro shop at Queen's.
15 love.
Just to add salt to the wounds, Camden pops that one in the dead on. He's back in the lead in this set.
Go. 30 love.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Cam looks like a man on a mission here. He knows he's 2 games away from the Open final.
I think that net tape has
From the Open victory, sorry.
I think that net tape's had the opposite effect to Nick as the road return forces had a few games ago. He looks a bit despondent now.
40 love.
Camden takes it with another main
So
medal.
clinical from Camden, and he was 1 game away.
Game receiver, 5 games to 4.
That's unlucky from Nick, but he's showing really great fight here, playing such good tennis.
And he's such good hands from
under
Camden.
such a crucial point in the match. And with almost 400 people watching live on YouTube and a packed upper gallery here at Queen's, Camden brings up match point. Oh.
First one saved.
40.
Camden has 2 more points for the championship.
simply incredible way to save match point.
An incredible high serve to start, and then what shot making from Nick, ridiculous retrieving from Camden, but
Just
Nick has
has to do
saved the second match point.
One more and he has some breathing room.
Third match point, Camden.
Nearly an absolutely unreal serve. Oh
What a
my
shot.
God, he's done it. Wow.
What hands from Nick. Tom Carey-Hunt rightly calling out Bertie on his number of people again. We're at well over 400 people at this point.
Sorry, Tom.
Here we go, back to Juice.
Oh no. That's so unlucky, but Cam
Receiver.
not giving Nicky anything. Oh wow.
Oh my word, what
And
a
that-
time to
that-
find that serve.
It's very reminiscent of the Chandel serve
Juice.
we saw earlier in the match.
Chase, worse than 2 yards. Juice.
So Camden has a worse than 2 chase. Nick will really want to go down the receiving end with the advantage here. Chance. It's in.
What a
In.
point that
What
is. That is a
a
huge
finish.
point for Nicky with better than 2 chase pending, heading to the receiver side. Match point down with better than 2 would have been pretty disastrous.
We've
So
talked-
to find the grill there is just incredible.
We talked all about margins. That one was millimetres, not centimetres.
Yeah.
Receives advantage. Chase, worse than 2
Here we go.
yards. Worse than 2.
Nick has a chance to take the game here. He's got worse than 2 to beat. Both players switching to the high serves as their dominant choice at the moment.
Oh
He's
my
done it.
God.
He's done it.
Wow.
Huge fist pump to the gallery. Nick Howell has levelled the set at 5 games all. He's saved 4 championship points.
Yeah, it's just simply incredible tennis from Nicky Howell.
He had his own match points saved against him in the full set of his doubles match yesterday afternoon. I think he'd be quite happy to flip the script this time. Camden finds a tight bobble. 1 point apiece.
Was that it?
Unbelievable hands from
Wow.
Nicky. Completely wrong-sided, wrong-footed. He's stuck out a forehand and popped it to chase the line.
And very well dodged from Neil McKenzie.
Now score. 30,
But the
15.
force off the penthouse, spins high. Advantage Riviere, 30-15.
Wow.
And he pops the next one in the grill. It is going to be 2 more championship points for Camden down the receiving end.
2 match points and chase the line for Camden Riviere.
Come on, give us the last set, the call in the comments. Steel boulders for a dead-on to beat Chase 2 and win the 10th game, says Tom Perrohunt. I think everyone is enjoying this fantastic set of tennis. We've got 2 more match points, 2 more tournament points for Camden. Another one saved. We are on to championship point number 6.
And he's done it.
He's taken that one.
Wow. What a match that was. Incredible tennis from both players.
2-6, 6-4, 6-love, and 6-5. What a 4th set, what a match. What a champion. Camden Riviere defends his British Open title once again. But what a performance from Nick Howell. Fought all the way to the end there. He applauds the gallery. A fantastic crowd at Queen's Club here on a Monday evening watching on as Neil Mackenzie, tonight's marker, goes to read out the score.
And to all 434 of you watching on the live stream, just stay with us as we watch Camden given his, I'm not even sure what number, how many British Opens he's won at this point. I think his consecutive wins since 2013, I believe.
We see here the match stats for the match. You're going to get told off by Tom again for saying 431 people instead of 431 devices. But we see the match summary here, points 119 to 96. So a close match by all accounts, but Camden just sneaking out ahead after that first set. Serves one up at 55, managed to peg Nick back, who started so well in that first set, up at 80% for a while. No great surprises there. Nick winning the dead-on count with that powerful force and receiving ends that kept him in the match at points. Saved multiple championship points. 4 winning galleries for Camden. No double faults from either player. No great surprises there. Pretty high chases laid from Camden there, 25%. Do you think he was coming into the match with that tactic, Bertie?
Sorry, I was just...
nearly getting decapitated by a new cable.
Just
that's okay.
fighting for my life here in the commentary box. What was the question?
Just saying, 25% chases laid from Camden. Do you think that was a tactic he had going into this match?
Yeah, Nicky's been serving his slow railroad really well all tournament. And when Camden is at the service side, pushing up the court and retrieving well, there's not anyone that can beat him. So yeah, no, I'm sure he was keen to get the service side.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think he's then dominated there with that 55%. Nick down at 44. So a fantastic match from Camden. But for consecutive years, we've had John and Nick both take sets off Camden. John also taking sets in that World Championship in the intervening period. So really, really fantastic to see these guys taking the fight to Camden. Obviously, when you're number one, when you're the world champion, people are going to keep coming at you. And fantastic job from him to just keep coming back, keep defending these titles. He's talked about how tricky it can be once you kind of reach the pinnacle, to almost reset, to keep going and to keep fighting just as hard, having reached the top.
Yes.
But he continues to do it tournament after tournament after tournament. He's done it again. He's lifted that trophy a few times, which you'll see being set out on the East Court at Queen's in a second. Just a word to people who helped make this tournament happen while we've got an intervening period. You can see tournament director Alistair down on the court in conversation with Ben Ronaldson, pro at Queen's Club, both of whom make a huge amount of work in to make this tournament happen. Neil Mackenzie, your marker for this evening, also a pro here. Thank you to Queen's Club for their generous hospitality every single year. And of course, Sir John Ritblat and Paul Roger for their generous sponsorship of Real Tennis. And of course, for the T&RA also. Stolen all the thank yous there, Bertie. Has anyone forgotten that you can remember off the top of your head?
I mean, there's a long list of volunteers who've helped make this tournament possible. Jess Garside, she's been here all week, working tirelessly as a volunteer. You mentioned Alistair Lumsden. Nigel Pendry's on court. I'm not sure exactly what he did to help run the British Open, but he's formed a valuable part of the audience.
And of course all the pros as well for doing their marking during the week. Makes for a fantastic tournament. And we can look a little bit ahead with the result of that match to some of the World Championship qualifiers. So Nick will be taking on Ben Taylor-Matthews, and it will be John Lumley versus Steve Vagona. We will see where those matches take place as the bidding process continues later this year. That, of course, all leading up to find the challenger against Camden. So I'll be handing you over shortly for the trophy presentation. Once again, a fantastic match between Nick and Camden. 3 sets to 1 in the end, but some really fantastic tennis. It's been our pleasure to commentate on this. Don't forget to come and join us again tomorrow evening for the doubles final. Both these players featuring once again Nick pairing up with Leon Smart, Camden pairing up with Tim Chisholm. Should be a fantastic doubles final. But before then, we have the presentations. As we just see the assembled Queen's crowd
great to see everyone
court,
milling onto court. It really was a packed upper gallery here at Queen's. I've never really seen the club so busy for a British Open, even on the first round.
Here we go.
And here we are.
Hand you over now.
Camden and Nikki. Thanks all to all the other players who've competed over the last 2 weeks from Australia, France and the USA. So thank you for all coming. Before I hand over to Sir John to present the prizes, I'd just like to thank by name some of the people who've worked very hard over the last 3 or 4 months to make this tournament possible. Firstly, of course, I'd like to thank Queen's Club, its members, staff and directors for allowing us to host the tournament here. We're very grateful to them for the court time and also their hospitality, so many thanks to them. Thanks to the Queen's Club tennis professionals, Ben Ronaldson, Bryn Sayers and Neil Mackenzie for all their hard work in sewing the balls. As some of you will know, Bryn Sayers has not been competing this week because he's just had a hip operation. And as some of you will know, Ben Ronaldson is about to go and have a hip operation. And in fact, Neil Mackenzie's just retired from the tournament as well. So can we wish them a speedy recovery from their operations and a round of applause for all their hard work over the last Can we thank now Alistair Lumsden, tournament organiser, who, as usual, has run the tournament impeccably over the last 3 or 4 months, which is the term of his involvement. So many thanks, Alistair. Thanks to all the markers, led this evening by Neil Mackenzie, but including Drew Lyons and all the other markers over the last 2 weeks. So many thanks to them. Some of you will have watched the tournament or some of the matches on streaming on YouTube, so please give a big round of applause to Ben Gatenbeck, Jackie Sui, and also their team of commentators. Thanks to the Garside family, led by Jess and Alex and all the other volunteers who've sorted out the seating and ticketing over the last 2 weeks. So many thanks, Jess. For the T&RA office, these 2 weeks are probably the busiest 2 weeks of the year, with 2 tournaments happening at Queen's in the same week. So many thanks to Carolina and Canberra and the office. So big round of applause for them, please. And finally, I come to the sponsors. So first of all, can we thank Paul Roger and James Simpson for their wonderful champagne and wine. And lastly, and obviously most importantly, can we thank Sir John Ritblat for his sponsorship of this tournament and indeed his support of tennis at Petworth, Middlesex and generally. So many thanks to John, we're very grateful for I think Sir John has probably been sponsoring this tournament on and off for longer than some of the players have been alive. So over to you, Sir John, to present the prizes.
Fred, that was a noble effort. Left me nothing to do, but I am impoverished, I can tell you. And but apart from that, what a privilege it is for me to sponsor something that is of such outstanding quality. Where would you see a match of that kind that explores the quickness, the speed, the eye, even the intellect? They may look dumb, but they're not. They're very, very smart. Now, there's actually no one left to thank except you, Fred. Not forgetting you. So shall we on with the motley and on with the prizes? Here we go. Camden, Nick, where are you? You coming up? You coming up? Neil, thank you for marking. Not a discernible mistake. But will you please shout tomorrow? Thank you. Where's the runner-up? Nick. You want me to buy you a new pair of trousers? Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sir John, firstly, for supporting the event. As Fred said, on and off over a number of years, probably when my dad was playing, to be fair. Yeah. Obviously, I'd like to congratulate Camden on winning another British Open. it's honestly truly a privilege to challenge yourself against the very best player. To be honest, the best player that's played the game other than Rob, in my opinion. So it was an honour to push you tonight. But congrats, bud. I want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting. It's a lot of fun to play in front of a good crowd, cheering and supporting. It's what makes it fun for us players. I'd like to thank the Queen's team, Ben Ronaldson and his staff, for all their hard work. They're fantastic, organising all the practice courts and finding accommodation for the players. To Alistair for running the tournament. It's never an easy job with sweating and court delays and switching courts and having to move a 90-year-old man off the court yesterday, I believe. So anyway, aside from that, you do a fantastic job year after year. I've got to thank Aiken Tennis Club, the president Michael Sullivan, and all the members for the support that they give me. They allow me to play all these tournaments, and they follow everything I do. So I'll say hello to the Aiken Tennis Club and thank you, and I'll be back soon. To my beautiful fiancée, thank you for coming over and supporting. It's her first time ever to England. And yeah, thank you to the T&RA, Chris, and the volunteers like Jess Garside does a superb job behind the scenes, ticketing all the tickets and sorting out people. So Jess, you're a star. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's it from me. So thank you.
Praise for the champion. Come on, Camden. Come on.
It's going to be very hard to follow that speech, Nikki. I think you not only spoke eloquently, but you literally thanked everybody. So first and foremost, Nikki, wow, that first set tonight was just incredible. I've never seen you playing consistently at this level, and it's really great to see it, especially going into the Eliminator Series. It's just so cool to see how much you progressed. And I know obviously it wasn't the result you wanted tonight, but I'm proud of you and your growth, and you pushed me to my top level, and I know we're going to have many, many more in the future. So thank you for letting me get this one. I've been lucky enough to be on a pretty incredible run for the last 10 or 12 years of my life, where I've had the opportunity to hold this trophy numerous times, and each time is different, and each time is just as sweet, and they all come with their difficulties. This one feels especially good with how hard Nikki pushed me tonight, but honestly, I just really want to thank everybody for coming out. The crowd really makes this special every year. We love having you here. We love the support, even if it's not always for us, but we love having you here. To be a part of this with us. The British Open truly is one of the keys in the history of the game, and it is such an honor and privilege to be out here competing for it. So thank you all. And John, just thank you so much. Without you, we wouldn't be here. You've done a great service to the pros for longer than I can remember. And I hope you will continue to, because not only do we love your sponsorship, but we love having you around to come and cheer from the day on and support us. So thank you.
Well, thank you again to everyone who has watched on the live chat. We hope you enjoyed, and we just want to say that the doubles final tomorrow between Tim Chisholm, Camden Riviere, and Leon Smart and Nikki Howell is set to be a super exciting match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And will be streamed here on T&RA Media. So hopefully see you all there. Thank you.
Fantastic. a couple of speeches there from both Nick and Camden, who may well find themselves facing off depending on how the World Championship qualifiers go over the next year or so. So you can just see on the screen here a huge list of people, all of whom have important roles to play in making this week happen. Fantastic work as always from Ben, Bajan, Annika and Oliver, all of whom working hard on the AV side, Jacqueline and Theo as well. A lot of us jumping on the commentary these couple of weeks. We hope you've enjoyed some of our insights, some intelligent, some less so, but hopefully helped make the viewing experience enjoyable. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Make sure you tune in tomorrow evening for that fantastic doubles final that we have in store. Until the next time, enjoy.